Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Happy New Year, and I hope that you enjoyed your festivities during the festive season. We're back in session now, and yeah, moving forward, happy 2022. Okay, so today we're making this caged collar, and I wanted to show you how to take the measurement. You are of course going to need to take the measurement of where you want it to sit. I want mine to sit by the neck and falling into almost as if it's coming through to the armhole. Okay, so you are going to need to know how to calculate the radius for a 360-degree circle. If you don't know how to do that, you can go to scroll down to some of the videos. I have done 2 tutorials on how to calculate a 360-degree circle, how to go about the radius, and so on and so forth. In this tutorial, I will be showing you a miniature on paper of how to do that, okay, just as a recap. But in case you haven't, please watch the other videos on the channel. So like I said, I want the collar to fall like this, so it's going to be by the neck and then coming almost as if it's going to into the armpit. So I don't want it to be very low there, so I will take the measurement about there, and I'm also trying to balance this mannequin, okay, and all the way to the other side of the armhole here. Okay, so I will take it up to here, and this is about 25 inches. Okay, so we're going to be using 25 inches, and we're going to divide that by 6.28, which is the formula for calculating your radius for a 360-degree circle. Okay, so let's go to the table and see the materials that you'll be needing for this and how you go about calculating that radius. Okay, let's go. Okay, so let us quickly revise how to derive your radius for your circle skirt. Okay, so this is for a 360-degree circle. So I have here a piece of paper, fold it into half and then fold it again. So it's going to be folded into 4, okay, because you want to cut a 360-degree circle or flare. Okay, so I already showed you on the mannequin where I want the collar to be. So in my case, it will go through the neckline and then all the way up to the armhole, where the armhole starts. Okay, I want it to be there. So you have to measure on which part of the body that you want that collar to sit. Okay, so you come now to your folded edge. This is where the paper is folded, and in my case we had measured 25 inches. Okay, I'm just trying to get a pencil or paper. Okay, yeah, so in our case we had measured 25 inches. So 25 inches divided by 6.28, that is the formula for the radius for a 360-degree circle. So that gave me 3.9. So because this is a small piece of paper, let's just assume that 3.9 is somewhere here. Okay, I'm just doing a demonstration, so you have to mark your actual measurements when you're doing this on your fabric. Okay, so you would take that measurement. In our case, we would be marking the 3.9 here. So after dividing that 25 by 6.28, it should give you 3.9. Okay, so this is going to be our radius. You can use a curved ruler. I'm just going to try and do this by hand. Okay, something like that. So this would be our radius, and we're going to be cutting that off. And then the next thing is also you need to decide the width of your collar. In my case, I'll be using 6 inches. Okay, so let's take this measurement here because it's the shorter side. So let's assume that this is where our 6 inches is. Okay, in actual fact, if this was our 6 inches, and remember, the width really depends on the outlook that you want. If you want, you can make it wider. You can take 8 inches or whatever it is you want. I didn't want mine to be very, very wide or very bogus, but that is up to you if you want it to be very bogus. So you kind of just join those pieces and then you cut out. Remember, with our case, that 6 inches already includes the folding allowance that you need. Okay, so you just cut these 2 parts off and then you should have your general shape. Okay, so then you should have something like this, having derived your radius and then the width. Okay, you open that piece of paper, you have something that looks like this. So you can choose either side because you want to create kind of a curve at the edge here. Let me just get my curved ruler. So you would come anywhere around this radius. So this is where your neck would be. You would be connecting this with a slant line or curved line to the edge. Okay, so let's just do that quickly. So I'm just creating a slant curve this way. Okay, and then I'm going to cut that off. Okay, you can smooth that out so that the curve is not, you don't have any sharp edges there. So you have something like this, and that would be the shape of the collar. Okay, the next thing is for you to decide where you're going to put the channels. Okay, so before we go into deciding the channels, I just want to quickly show you the materials that you're going to be needing now that you know how to derive the shape. Okay, so here I have boning that is going to give it structure so that your collar can stand very well. Okay, so I have ribbon tangled up here. Okay, so I'm gonna put this away. We have 2 types of boning. Okay, there is this one which you insert into a channel. Okay, this is what I'm going to be using. There's also the other type which you sew on, so you can sew on one side and on the other side. So I would advise you to use this because this is stiffer, and I want my collar to have those ridges. Okay, so that's why I'm going to go with this one. And you can use either a bias. Okay, you can use a bias which you can make yourself or you can buy it. This is what is going to create, this is what we are going to be using to create the channels that I'm talking about. So you take your bias, place it on your collar, and you stitch on one side, then stitch on the other side, and then you are going to be inserting this into the channel. Okay, this is what makes it, you know, to be able to stand nicely. Okay, as you do that, remember, in our case, I'm not going to be lining this. I'm not turning this with a lining. I'm going to be turning it with a bias. So either way, you need to leave at least 1/2 inch at the top and then 1/2 inch all around also, so that you're able to turn and hide the rough edges, either with your bias tape or with your ribbon. You can use a ribbon, but if you are going to go around with a ribbon, it's going to be difficult because this doesn't bend so well when it comes to curves. So you can make your own bias, or you can cut 2 pieces of the same way and then you can use it to turn. Once you have created the channels, in this case I'm going to be using 8 channels, 4 on one side, 4 on the other side. I'm going to insert the boning. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and hide the edges with the bias. I'm going to show you that once it's done. And then to secure, sorry, I have a bag here. Okay, to secure this on your collar or on the body, you are going to attach strings. You can use same colored bias. You can cut your strings from the main fabric, or you can use a piece of ribbon. In this case, because I didn't want to go out and buy other materials, I just decided to use what I have in the house, so I will be using a ribbon. The other thing that you're going to be needing for this tutorial is the main fabric. Okay, so I have this organza, kind of, it's a pink color, so I'm going to be using this as the main fabric, and I'm going to be using the black bias, okay, to create the channels, and then we're going to insert this. The other thing is, as you cut off your boning, you need to mask it with sellotape so that it doesn't keep on, tearing the fabric once you've inserted it in. You can also go ahead to arrange some trimmings. This is lace that remained from a previous project that I had, and I'm just going to cut this and try to decorate the collar once it's done. Okay, so let's move on to our next step, which is cutting our collar, okay, on the main fabric, and then we're going to go and create the channels. Let's go. Okay, so I just wanted you to see what I've done so far. So after cutting our template, which I showed you, let me see if I can get that very quickly. Okay, so after cutting our template, okay, I went on to cut it on our main fabric, which was the pink organza. And you can also see that I've gone on to add the channels. I'd said I would be adding about 8, so I've added more to it because this is a very light fabric and I want it to be, to stand very, very firmly. So what I did simply was I took the bias tape. Okay, this is the bias tape that I made, and then the other one was one that I bought in the store, but anyway, I mixed those. So what you do is you just place it. Okay, so the folded side should be there, and you are placing your bias tape on the right side. Okay, so on the right side, then you are going to go ahead and stitch on one side and stitch on the other side. Okay, so that's basically what I've done. And then I went on to add the strings, which will be used to attach this collar to at the back. And also, after putting all this, I think there are about 11 or 12 channels that I've created on this collar, I went on to attach the bias at the top to hide the rough edges. Okay, so this is how it looks like at the back, but I just wanted also to try it on so that I see if the size works for what I want. So you just are going to tie this at the back, and your collar should stand something like this. Okay, oops, my mannequin is about to fall. Okay, so it should be standing something like this. So I'm just going to tie this at the back to see if there are any other adjustments I need to make before I can go on to finish the bottom part. Okay. Okay, oops, so something like that. So after you're happy with the position and how it's looking, if you need to adjust it, you can do that. Okay, so I was just trying to see how it fits. When you're happy with the position, the width and everything, then the last thing that you'll be needing is to add your trimmings. I'm going to be using this lace, so I'm going to cut off the unnecessary black part and just use the decorative stitch. I'm still going to see which direction I'm going to put that lace, and then maybe some patches at the back also of the collar, and then our collar will be done. So it's a very, very simple tutorial. I'm just going to go ahead and finish up the inner edge. I'm going to be adding this bias. So because you want to stitch from the right side, you place the bias at the wrong side first. Okay, just fell off, sorry. So you place it at the wrong side. So the right side of the bias should be facing the wrong side of your collar, and then you are going to be stitching at that first fold there. You stitch all the way to the other end, and once that is done, you are just going to flip it to the right side and you are going to top stitch, and that is it. After that is just adding your decorations, your trimmings, according to your taste. Okay, so I'm going to do that and I'll show you the final look. Let's go. Okay, so this is our final product. I've gone on to, I just pinned in on the petals, and then I'm going to hand stitch it, but this is just generally how our collar looks like. I'm just going to turn it so that you can see how I tied it at the back. Okay, so your strings just come down and under the armpit, and then you just tie a bow to secure it. I feel I shouldn't have added this, I went on to add this ribbon. I feel I should have just left it with that black bias, but anyway, I was just trying to experiment to see. So this is how it looks like at the back, you can see. Okay, yes, so this is how to go about creating your caged collar. I like how it came out. I think you can also make this kind of collar with Ankara and other kinds of fabric. You can experiment and see what the outcome is like. So thank you very much for watching until the end. I can't wait to see your own recreations. Tag us on IG at Miranda's Designs and Creations. I'll see you on our next tutorial. Bye.